Happy not Sunday. Sorry guys. It's Tuesday. But we're here. Hello.
Hello.
I'm Ellie.
And I'm Ben, and I like to interrupt people.
Yes. And this is Ears to Ever After. Welcome.
Welcome on.
Welcome on. Alright, so what we have decided is for the next several weeks, I think I've got like 10 videos planned out, we are going to do a Disney planning series. So we are going to take you through the ins and outs of how to consider or what to consider when you're planning your Disney vacation. We're going to talk about everything from the differences in the resort types and what you get for what you pay for the different resorts and the different levels, which is going to be today's video. We're going to talk about fast passes. We're going to talk about dining reservations, annual passes versus tickets, and lots of other things, packing, bringing your own snacks into the parks, things like that. So basically this next series is designed to help you with your park planning and help you with making your Disney vacation the very best that it can be.
Better than all the rest.
Yes. We're coming to you from our new couch too, so that's why everything kind of looks a little different. So with that, like I said, today we're going to talk about, because the first thing that most people do when planning a Disney vacation, besides their budget, which maybe we'll talk a little bit about that first, because it will segue into what we're going to talk about. So the first thing that people do when they think about their Disney vacation is obviously how are we going to pay for it. And that also, I think, plays into, okay, well, now that we figured out kind of what kind of a budget we have, then we can look into where we're going to stay and how that factors into the package price. So Disney has a few different levels of accommodation. So they have the campground, which is kind of considered a little bit less than a value because obviously you're just bringing your camper to and renting a plot on the campground at Fort Wilderness. And then you've got the value resorts, the moderate resorts, the deluxe resorts, and the villas. So there's a lot of different choices for staying on Disney property. And in this particular episode, we're going to talk about just staying on Disney property. We won't be really getting into the off-property hotels. That'll be a video for a different
decade.
A different part in the series. But for this one, we're going to start by doing the hotels on Disney property, and then we'll do off-site hotels at a later time, because not that off-site hotels are bad, but we personally just don't think it's worth the savings. And for some people it very well might be. The savings might outweigh the perks of staying on property. For us it doesn't, but for some...
It's more convenience for us to stay on property.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we'll start with the campgrounds. Obviously the campground is the cheapest option that you can do, because you're going to be bringing your trailer or your camping gear with you to Disney's Fort Wilderness.
Well, it depends on what kind of camper you have. If you have one of those $1 million campers.
I mean, yeah, but we don't, so we don't have any camper because Ellie doesn't do camping at all. But yeah, so you can bring your camper, you can bring your trailer, your hitch, and all that.
Surely not a glamper.
No, if it's outside, it's not for me. Yeah, no. My perfect campsite needs to be in a hotel with a shower and a bed.
That's not a campsite.
And electricity. Anyways, and then my Diet Pepsi, obviously. Not that that's either here nor there, but anyway, so generally speaking, the campgrounds are fairly inexpensive because you're bringing your own camper. So that's an option if you're looking to save money and you do have a camper or a Winnebago or whatever, what have you. So that's a great way to save some money on your Disney trip if you want to stay at the campsites. And Fort Wilderness, I mean, there's definitely different levels of Fort Wilderness, and we'll get into that more when we talk about moderate level resorts. But there's a ton of stuff to do at Disney's Fort Wilderness too. I mean, they have horses and not go-karts, but golf carts that you can rent. You can do horseback riding. You can do bike riding. It's just not hoop-de-doo. Chippendale's Campfire is at Fort Wilderness. So actually, I think Hoop-de-Doo is at Fort Wilderness, now that I'm thinking about it. So there's a lot of kind of cool things that you can do. So even though the campground part of it is one of the less expensive options to stay at Disney property, there's still a lot to do at that resort, and there are still a ton of amenities that you can get. So it really is kind of getting a bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Yeah? You want to talk about the value resorts?
I can. If I start coughing, I apologize, I'm sick. But,
That's true.
So there's different values. You got your All-Stars, music, oh, that's like, yeah, music, yeah.
Music and
movies
music.
and pop. Yeah, you know.
You have All-Star Music, All-Star Movies, and
All-Star
All-Star
Sports.
Sports.
That's what I was trying to get out.
Yes.
And then you have Pop Century, and then Art of Animation, which isn't really value.
It kind of is, though.
It is, but
It's on the gondola line
it's
now.
expensive.
Yeah, we'll get into why it's a little bit pricier than the rest of the values in a minute. But this is great. These are great options for those travelers that are looking to save a little bit of money, but still get a top-notch quality vacation, because you're still on the Walt Disney Resort property when you stay at a value, but you're staying at a place where maybe there's not quite as many amenities as a moderate or deluxe, so it's not quite as expensive. But there still is a value to staying at a value resort. I mean, as we just said, the gondolas are right. If you stay at Pop Century or Art of Animation, they are on the gondola line now, so it's easy transportation to Epcot and Hollywood Studios from those resorts. With the All-Star resorts, not that there's anything inherently wrong with them, but they're a little smaller. The room size is only about 220-ish square feet, but a lot of the All-Stars have just been refurbished. So is Pop Century, actually. But now they have like the hardwood floors, and it's very modern. It actually almost has an IKEA look to it. So there's a lot more storage, and it's a lot more sleek and a lot more modern. So there is that feeling that it might not be quite as cramped. The room itself is still a little tiny.
But you're not spending your time at Disney to be in your room. You're spending your time to be in the parks.
Yes. Well, for some people. Some people like to spend the time in their rooms and wandering around the resorts.
Well, there's lots to wander around in those ones.
Mm-hmm. What I love about the values too, especially for travelers with little kids, is that the value resorts provide this larger than life, no mistaking that you are at Disney World. They have these like 75-foot Buzz Lightyear at movies, or Sorcerer Mickey, or the Mighty Ducks helmet in the Mighty Ducks section, which P.S. is my favorite section of All-Star movies. They have... I did. It might also be the first resort that we've ever stayed at, so it's special. They have, at music, they have just, again, larger than life Mickey Mouse, and they have just so many cool things for the kids to see, and they're really cool for photo opportunities too. If you are an Instagrammer, or you just like taking cool Disney photos, you can absolutely, these are just such a good place to take those pictures. Take lots of really cool photo opportunities there. At Pop Century, they have like the decades, so like there's yo-yos and the big giant Mickey phone. At Art of Animation, you've got like the Cars Land, you've got the Little Mermaid, you've got Finding Nemo, and all of them are themed like incredibly well after their movies' counterparts or their sections of pop or whatever have you. So I mean, they're really, really cool, and they're really great for kids. I think it provides that awe and that wonder, and it saves you some money.
Yeah. Oh, depending.
Yeah. One downfall I will say about the value resorts is if it is during like a Pop Warner week or a sporting event week, that is generally where most of the teams stay, so it can get a little loud and rowdy at hours that it normally wouldn't. But some of the positives to the value resorts outside of the larger-than-life Disney theming are the food. The food is excellent at the value resorts. Most people don't think that it would be, but All Star Movies has a secret menu that's really cool. Pop Century has the tie-dye cheesecake that's famous around Walt Disney World. Their food courts are super underrated.
Yeah, I haven't been in a while, so
Yeah.
things could have changed.
Definitely. If you are an adult traveler, I know that Pop Century and Art of Animation do have poolside bars next to their main pools, so they might not be as fancy or as elaborate as some of their moderate or deluxe counterparts, but it's still available and they still have basically the same drinks. The main pools all have like pool parties and like things to do during the day, so if you come back to the resort during the day, you do have those pools.
And you still do the movies in Under the Stars.
That's a really cool thing too, yeah, so you do that too. Did I talk about the buses?
No, but I'm actually gonna question you. I'll let you speak and then I'll question your buses.
I just think that for the All-Stars, the buses are kind of a pain in the butt because they do share.
They are, but I've been timing, because we've been staying in deluxe resorts.
DVC resorts.
DVCs, whatever. But I've been timing the buses which goes to deluxe resorts. It doesn't matter if it's DVC or what. But the pop and all those, because there's so many people going on, the buses come more often. Whereas when you're actually at a quieter resort, the buses don't come as often. So if you miss that bus, you're waiting a while.
That is true. You are correct. Oh, and the other thing to note is that the Pop Century and the Art of Animation buses are a little limited. For Hollywood Studios and Epcot, they only come once an hour because they are trying to get you to use their gondola system. So,
Which is a lot quicker
yes,
than a bus.
the gondola is super scary,
It's super fun.
but it is a great method of transportation. Tinkerbell is here. You probably all saw me grab her while Ben was talking, and that's because I don't like her crawling on the back of my couch because it's new, so she's here now.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's a little bit about the values, and again, the values are just that. They're a way to stay on Disney property for a bang for your buck, because most of the value resorts, with the exception of Art of Animation, most of the value resorts are going to be well under $300 a night. So it's a good way to save some money. And the reason I leave Art of Animation out of that is because, with the exception of the Little Mermaid rooms, all the other rooms at Art of Animation are family suites, so they can sleep up to 6 guests. So the family suites are a little bit more expensive. However, they are a lot cheaper than the deluxe villas, which are some of the only other resorts that can sleep more than 4 to 5 people in a room,
So
in one single room, basically.
it works out cheap if you've got a bunch of friends wanting to go down, you chip in a little bit here, a little bit there, save some money.
And especially if, there's only maybe 4 of yous, it's 2 to a room, so they are 2-bedroom suites, so you do get a little bit more privacy and a kitchen and all that cool stuff. So and a sitting room. So that's pretty cool. So don't count out the value resorts. If you're looking to try to do Disney on a budget and you want to stay on property, the value resorts are a great option.
Yeah.
They are the furthest away from the parks, though. That's okay. You know, that's okay. You just spend a little more time on the Disney buses. So we'll talk about the moderates next. You have Coronado Springs with the new Grand Destino Tower. You have Port Orleans, French Quarter, and Riverside. They are two separate resorts, but we'll get into how they do share some amenities. You've got Caribbean Beach now, and you have Fort Wilderness, the cabins. So those are the moderate level resorts, although the cabins price out more of a deluxe price because they also sleep like 8 people.
Only 8?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know 8 people.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that, yeah, the cabins, I think, sleep like 8. But the cabins are cool because if you go during the holidays, you can decorate for like Halloween or Christmas, and you can drive by with your little golf cart and see all the cool decorations that people put up. It's kind of a neat little thing.
I just want to drive a golf cart.
Yeah, they look like little log cabins. They're so cool.
I don't play golf, but I just want to drive a golf cart.
So our favorite moderate is, I think it's a toss-up for me between Coronado Springs, although I haven't been there since I haven't stayed at Coronado since they've opened Grand Destino. So it's a mix between Coronado Springs and I think Port Orleans French Quarter.
I think Port Orleans French Quarter, you get more of that Disney spirit.
Yes, and it's a much smaller resort. So even though it kind of shares a parcel with the sister resort, Riverside's a huge resort, land-wise.
And I forgot to mention beignets on that one.
Beignets, yes, you can get beignets at French Quarter. It's a smaller resort, so it's a little more quaint and a little bit more intimate, which is nice. And there's not quite as much walking to get from the buses to your room, or the main hall or the main building to your room. Whereas like Riverside, it could be up to a 10-15 minute walk depending on where your room is located. The cool thing about Riverside and French Quarter though is that they do share amenities, so you can, if you wanted to, you could walk from Riverside to French Quarter or vice versa, and you can use like the pools and things like that. It's one of the only resorts that allows for pool sharing because they are sister properties. With the moderates, the rooms are a little bit bigger, so a lot of the times with the moderates, you'll have a little bit more square footage, so there's more storage, there's more room to spread out if there are more people. I believe it is Port Orleans Riverside that can sleep up to 5 in a room without having a baby. Yeah, I think it's Port Orleans Riverside.
20 if you have babies in there.
No, you can bring one baby. I think like one.
Yep, you can bring one baby.
Child under 2, I think it's fire safety. I don't know. Don't quote me.
I know
on
babies
that one.
cause fire.
Really, it's an occupancy thing. So all the moderates in general, all 4.5, 5-ish of them, have bigger rooms, so bigger room space. Most of them do have the double sink now too in the bathroom, so there is like a his and her sink.
Yeah, I don't have to share my sink with this one.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. And the moderates are a lot more spread out, so that can be a positive or a negative depending on how you look at it, because a lot of the times the moderate resorts have more resort space, so the buildings are more spread out, so it takes a little longer to get from your room to the main quarter unless you're in like a preferred room, or in the case of Coronado, in the tower. So that, I don't know, for me I kind of like that because I like wandering around the resorts.
Not after you've been in the parks.
Or drinking at the down Disney Springs.
Mm-hmm.
It is fun though. The nice thing about the moderate resorts is just like its value resorts, I mean, they do have the main pool with they'll do the pool party during the day, and then they have quiet pools just like the value resorts, but I believe the moderate. I don't know. There's something about the moderate resort quiet pools that I just like a little bit better.
Well, you just don't like the screaming kids.
Well, it's Disney, so you can't expect miracles.
I've been the quiet ones and not been there.
The other thing that's really cool about the moderates is on the poolside bars, a lot of the moderates now you will start to be able to order snacks, whereas at the value resorts, the poolside bars are just drinks, beverages, and alcohol and
Nothing wrong with that.
non-alcoholic beverages. But you don't have an opportunity to order like quick bites. So at the moderate resorts, you do, which is kind of cool, so you don't have to walk, you know, all the way up to like the quick service or whatever. If you don't want to, you can order like nachos or like a hot dog or whatever. The pools are bigger, so the main pools are generally a little bit bigger at the moderate resorts, and they have water slides. So yeah, the value pools don't have water slides. The main pool at the moderates does, and some of the moderates, Port Orleans French Quarter doesn't, but all the other moderates have at least one table service restaurant there at the resort as well. And the nice thing about them is because the moderates are also a little bit further from the parks, usually those restaurants you could get a walk-up table, which is kind of cool. Possibly not the one at the top of Grand Destino Tower now because it's new in its character, but still. Like the Sebastian's or Boat Rights or I forget the other one in Coronado Springs. That one, usually you can...
Yeah, that one's cool, that one.
Usually you can walk right into those, so that's kind of cool if you're in a pinch. The gift shops are also a little bit bigger at the moderate resorts.
Better selection.
Yeah, better selection. And another difference between the moderates and the values is that there are more activities at the moderates. Of course, they cost money because nothing at Disney is free, but you can do things like a horse-drawn carriage at Port Orleans, or I believe at Coronado you can rent bikes. You can rent bikes at Port Orleans as well.
You also got boating.
Yep, boats, things like that. So lots of just extra activities that you can do. So it's just a little bit more. And the nice thing is it's that middle ground. So it's not going to be quite as crazy as staying somewhere like the Grand Floridian, but it's not going to be. It's going to be a little bit more sophisticated than staying at like All-Star Movies where Mickey is 75 feet tall. The theming is not overtly Disney. It's still Disney, but subtle Disney. Like
classy Disney.
Classy Disney. I mean, not that the values aren't classy, but
They're designed more for children.
They're just a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of senses, like sense overload at the values, I feel like. So that's another thing. And then, what else do you need to say about the moderates?
Not really much. They cost more.
They do cost more. They're usually anywhere between $250 and $500 or $600 a night, depending on the category of room that you get and when you're booking and things like that. So they, again, more middle of the road pricing. So they're not as cheap as the value. They're also not as expensive. Well, depending on the room category, they're not as expensive as a deluxe.
Yes.
Deluxe resorts.
Alright, deluxe.
Dun dun dun.
They're expensive.
They are. So you have the Contemporary, you have the Grand Floridian, you have the Polynesian, Beach Club, Yacht Club, and Boardwalk, Animal Kingdom Lodge, Saratoga Springs, Old Key West. I feel like I'm forgetting one. What?
Wilderness?
Wilderness Lodge?
Yeah.
How could I forget Wilderness Lodge?
I was trying to help her out by being quiet about it.
We own DVC at Wilderness Lodge. How the heck did I forget about that? Wilderness Lodge.
She's age. She's getting old.
So, The main benefit of a deluxe resort is its proximity to the parks. So depending on which park you plan on spending the most time at,
which could be its main floor as well.
that's true. That is very true. She's so defeated right now because we won't let her crawl on the back of the couch. But yeah, so that's kind of the thing, is the closer you are to the park makes it more deluxe. So Polynesian, Wilderness Lodge, Grand Floridian, and Contemporary are all Magic Kingdom area resorts. Boardwalk, Beach Club, and Yacht Club are Epcot area and Hollywood Studios area resorts.
Yeah, very convenient.
Yes, very convenient. We love those. And then you've got Animal Kingdom Lodge. Not real convenient to anything because it's just basically near Animal Kingdom, but it is super close to Animal Kingdom.
Which is 10 years away from everything else.
Yes. And then you've got like Old Key West, Saratoga Springs, and the lake, and those really aren't near, those are near Disney Springs. So deluxe-ish, but not near not super close to the parks.
I feel like they're more very adult ones.
Yeah. We'll let you know in November. I think we're looking at Old Key West currently.
Yeah.
We'll see though. Old Key West or Saratoga. We're kind of on the fence.
I haven't tried them, so.
Yes. So, I will say, we stayed at, and we'll get into the villas and things like that, because most of the villas are half DVC, half you can pay to stay. But we stayed at the Contemporary last year, Bay Lake Tower actually, but part of the Contemporary, which is on the monorail line. And it was a blessing and a curse. Like, it was fantastic for walking to Magic Kingdom and being at Magic Kingdom. But going to Epcot was kind of a challenge because they didn't really have a lot of buses. And they relied a lot on the monorail, and the monorail, even though it's an effective and efficient mode of transportation, it took us an hour to get from Epcot back to the Contemporary after the park closed.
Because if you miss one, you're waiting. If then they get stuck at some point in time, you're waiting.
Yeah. So, I do like the monorail though. I mean, being near the monorail is super convenient, and I think it's more of a pro than a con. It's annoying when it takes forever, but it's definitely a convenient mode of transportation. I do like that. And I love that for the most part, again with the exception, actually no, not with the exception, all the Magic Kingdom area resorts have boat transportation to the Magic Kingdom, which is really cool. If you want to take water taxi, so that's a pretty cool little thing. And the Grand Floridian and the Contemporary now have walkways to the Magic Kingdom. So Grand Floridian's is new. It might not be finished quite yet at the time of this video, but it is being worked on. And then the walkway from the Contemporary to the Magic Kingdom, it's super easy. It's like a 5-minute walk. It's great. Then you've got like your Beach Club, Yacht Club, and Boardwalk, and those are super convenient to Epcot. I mean, like a literally less than 5-minute walk from the very first set of rooms at Beach Club to the World Showcase entrance at the Epcot. And then it's like a 10-15 minute walk to Hollywood Studios, or you can take the Skyliner. That's another option as well. So I think having the Skyliner technology only enhances Beach Club and Yacht Club and Boardwalk, even though you have to walk to Epcot to get them. And then it's super convenient too if you want to go to the Boardwalk, because like Jelly Rolls is open till 2 o'clock in the morning, and transportation to and from the Boardwalk is quite difficult if you aren't staying there. So like you usually have to transfer and take, a bus to here.
Oh, dog's disappeared.
Come here, Bubba. But yeah, so being able to get to the Boardwalk within walking distance is a phenomenal perk So, besides park proximity, what the heck makes the deluxe resorts so expensive?
They have expensive clothes inside that you can buy.
They do.
Their shops
Yeah, they
are a
have.
step above them all.
Yeah, they have like Lily Pulitzer and Tommy Bahama.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? Vineyard Vines.
Yeah.
All the preppy, kind of fun clothes.
Yeah.
A lot of the.
Oh, and they smell good.
Oh my god, they do. So good. A lot of the deluxe resorts have massive gift shops. I mean, not quite like, obviously not like World of Disney or anything like that, but they have huge gift shops with lots and lots and lots of merchandise that values and moderates don't have. You'll start seeing the Disney, Dooney, and Burks in the deluxe gift shops. You will see like full-on convenience store style like food and like frozen pizza and like, you know, gas station-y convenience store staples like.
So I think of the deluxe gas station food.
Well, not like gas station food, but like, you know how like they have like the packs of crackers and like the chips and the candy and stuff like that. I mean, they have a lot of that, and then they have a lot of frozen foods in the freezers and things like that, and then obviously beer and wine and soda and things. But so they've got a lot of food that you can purchase, like snacky foods that you can purchase and bring back to your room or bring to the parks with you. The rooms are bigger, again, so they're bigger than moderate, bigger than deluxe. I mean, they're not huge by any means. So I mean, like, not like you're getting that much more square footage in a deluxe room, but what you're paying for in a deluxe resort is it's a little bit more high scale. It's very, very subtle Disney themed. Like some of the resorts, like at the Grand Floridian, if they weren't playing Disney music, I wouldn't know that I was at Disney. It's very Victorian and very upscale. You know, so the theming is just a lot more subdued. So they're a lot quieter, I feel like.
Just like me.
I feel like the deluxe resorts are a lot quieter. They're more of a destination that you can go because the pools are usually pretty incredible at the deluxe resorts. There's a lot of lounging opportunities, like with the lounge chairs and things like that, more so than I feel like at the moderates and the values. And there's a lot more to do at the moderate resorts. Or at the, we're on deluxe.
We're on deluxe.
There's a lot more to do at the deluxe resorts. There's, you know, they have a lot more lounges. They have multiple table service restaurants. I mean, you've got Victoria and Albert's at the Grand Floridian, which is one of the highest dining establishments on Disney property. Also one of the most expensive. But, so you've got opportunities like that you don't have at the other resorts.
Yeah.
What else?
Some of them have bars inside.
Lounges, yeah.
Not real bars.
Yeah.
I don't call them lounges.
A lot of the times too, and I know that this, I mean, it doesn't make a super difference to me, but for some people it does make a little bit of a difference too. But most of, not every, but most of the deluxe resorts, you're entering the room from the inside, so the door is not an exterior door, like, so it's like a hotel instead of like motel style where you're entering from the outside, which moderate and deluxe, or moderate and value, you enter from the outside and then you're in your room. The deluxe resorts, generally speaking, now again, not all of them, there are a couple where you enter from the outside, but most of them you go into like the main lobby and then down the hall like a regular hotel.
The only thing I'm going to point out the difference here is quick service options aren't as big as what you'd get at a value.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you go to a value quick service, you've got tons of options. Then you go to the moderate value, it cuts down a bit. A moderate quick service, it cuts down. You go to the deluxe, it cuts down even more.
Yeah, there's not as many choices.
Yeah.
So, that's a pro for some, a con for others. It was a little annoying for us when we were looking for, you know, a lunch.
But the food's really good.
Yeah.
Because it's smaller, but it's not as busy, so your food's fresher.
Yeah, and they have a lot of options that like you wouldn't. It's more than just burgers and fries, which is nice. So like, while there might not be a ton of choice, it's not just gonna be a burger and a French fry. It's gonna be like a Reuben or. She's pretending to see something out the window, but she can't see it because the windows are closed. So anyways, so that is your deluxe resorts. Number one perk, being close to the parks. Biggest con, they're ridiculous as far as expenses. Some of the deluxe resorts can be as high as 16 to 1800 plus per night.
Yeah, and she's upset about it.
So they're not inexpensive. I think the least expensive deluxe that I have ever seen night-wise was maybe in the high 400s per night. Like I've never seen a deluxe come down past that unless it was on a sale, which doesn't happen very often. I feel like where it comes down that much. So they're very, very expensive. They're like $450 to $500 plus per night. So that's a big factor when planning your vacation, is how much do you want to spend on the room itself. We'll talk about tickets and ticketing options kind of in another show because this one's getting a little long. But there are so many ways that you can up the price of your Disney vacation based on your ticket prices. So when you factor in a really expensive resort stay on top of really pricey tickets, you're basically, looking at a minimum of $6,000 to $7,000 depending on your family size, and that's on the low side. When I used to work in travel, sending people to the a family of 4 to the Polynesian could sometimes cost upwards of $14,000 to $15,000. So it just depends on where your values lie.
Yeah. And if you don't have many vacations, why not splurge? Exactly.
And then there's kind of the deluxe DVC resorts. So you can pay in cash to stay at some of the DVC resorts. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about those in a different show, but we'll just say for now, they're right on par price-wise with deluxe resorts, and most of them are attached to an existing deluxe resort. But the difference between a deluxe and a DVC villa is that the DVC villas have kitchenettes and kitchens and are almost like little apartments, whereas deluxe resorts just have your standard fridge and coffee maker. So that could be, again, another way to save money because you can cook. Like, there are stoves in the resorts. And they price out pretty similarly to deluxe resorts. The only kind of difference is if you get up into like those 3-bedroom grand villas, they're going to be astronomical in price, like $1,600 plus per night, and stuff like that. So that's kind of why I feel like DVC is worth it. But that's another show. And most of the DVC resorts, because they're connected to deluxe resorts, all the amenities and things, you get to use the amenities of the resort. So like when we stayed at Bay Lake Tower last year, we had all the amenities that the Contemporary offered. So kind of like that. So that's a rundown of the hotels and the resorts on the Disney World properties. And that, I think, after planning your budget, picking out where you want to stay is the next, I feel like, at least for us, is the next progression in starting to plan your Disney vacation. So that is why we started with that. So in the next and upcoming videos, we'll talk about tickets, we'll talk about food and dining plans, and all that good stuff. So that's kind of where we're going to stop for now. And yeah. Any last thoughts about the resorts?
No, I want to go to Disney.
I know, right? Me too. So with that being said, we're going to end that part here. But the last thing that we want to tell you really quickly is that we're starting a little fun group on Facebook. if you want to join. So what we're doing is it's called the Fit to Disney Challenge, and it's not like an MLM, so it's not like It Works or like Beachbody or anything like that. But I joined Weight Watchers like, I don't know, a week and a half ago, and what I can tell you is that I lack super accountability. And the reason that I can tie this in with Disney is because I am trying to lose a little bit of weight before our next big Disney vacation, which is in November. Disneyland's a lost cause right now because it's a month away. But yeah, so what we're doing is just, what I want to do is basically have a place where people could share recipes. It doesn't matter what plan you're on. Doesn't matter if you're, you know, just working out, if you're on a diet, if you're trying to make a lifestyle change. Don't really care. As long as you keep it positive and upbeat. And you know, it's just a place where we can encourage each other and maybe have some check-ins where we can hold each other accountable and just, you know, to see that progress. Because I know for me, if nobody's watching, I'm going to, you know, slide and I'm going to eat McDonald's and not healthy stuff.
McDonald's, that sounds good.
So if you would like to join us, please visit our website, earstoeverafter.com. It's Fit for Diz Challenge, I think I have it named. And really all it is literally is just a Facebook group where I want to just get Disney fans who are looking to lose weight to make their park experience more enjoyable. Because I know for me, and I'm a big girl, it's a pain in the butt for the knees. It hurts the ankles. I get tired and cranky really fast. Let's not even get into the chafing. You know what I'm talking about. So like it's things like that where like I feel like other Disney fans can relate because we all have the same like woes in the theme parks. So I thought that it would be a really fun way to connect with others in the Disney community and really kind of have that community and camaraderie while we're all trying to lose weight or tone up or just get a little healthier before our next Disney trip. So all the details are on our website, earstoeverafter.com. And yes, there's a whole plethora of information there. I
That's
know.
a big word.
I know this video is getting crazy long at this point, but there's lots of cool things there. So lots of things coming in the future. I am in the process of designing more printables, free printables for the website. So I'm going to design a couple more planning printables to put up on the website for your Disney planners and things. Right now I have a packing list and a pre-Disney checklist. So like what you need to do in the coming days before you go to Disney. So those free printables are up on the website now. Lots of things. My Amazon storefront is up on our website, and just all sorts of cool things. So visit our website, check out the Fit for Disney Challenge. All the things are in there, and that is it. We will see you next Saturday for part 2 of our however long this series is going to go. Probably I'd say 8 to 10 weeks. Of our Disney planning and Disney vacation planning series.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it. If you liked this video, hit that like button down there. Subscribe, thumbs us up. Hit the notification bell. Do all the YouTube things. And yes. Oh, what did I say on our last video?
I don't remember.
What did I say? If we can get to 100
million,
not quite, 100 subscribers, we will do a giveaway, a Disney themed giveaway. So tell your friends, tell your Disney loving friends, tell everybody, please subscribe to our channel, because the sooner we get to 100, the sooner we can do that giveaway. And it will be all sorts of fun Disney prizes from the Disney store and Disneyland, because somebody's going to Disneyland soon. So I will be picking up prizes for the giveaway. So please, please, please help us get to 100 or more. 100 plus would be great. And we will see you next Saturday for part 2 of the Disney planning series. from Ears to Ever After.
Bye.
Bye.